We are, as a culture, a very, very generous culture, perhaps the most generous in the world. A recent study that I read said that 90% of Americans contribute to charities or churches. They give tax-exempt donations, 90% of the population. That's a huge amount of money. That's last year that was $337 billion in charitable gifts as a nation. That's 9 times bigger than the whole budget of Haiti. It's an enormous amount. Countless number of volunteers. That doesn't measure all the clothes and the food that we give away. And service projects are a norm in our culture, from kindergarten up through retirement. We're doing service projects. It's a part of our DNA. In Atlanta, you can't graduate from a public high school in Atlanta without doing 75 hours of community service. It's just a part of who we are. It's good business. Companies will build habitat houses. It's certainly the way we do church. We do service projects in the city. We go on mission trips around the world. We set up our food pantries and our clothes closets. We are a giving culture. So with all of that giving, why does the poverty needle not move? As a matter of fact, sometimes it just is moving the wrong way. The gap even seems to be widening. Well, why is that happening? With all of our giving, we should be helping folk move out of poverty. It doesn't seem to be working. Well, the good news is that there is some significant research going on in our day that takes a look at why the poverty needle is not moving. First of all, that's a delicate thing to do. It's hard to get honest data on why our programs aren't working because we're good at developing PR that convince folk to continue to give because our programs are working so well. We're very good at that. So it's hard to get good data on why the programs don't seem to be working. But there are some things that we are finding. One is that we have been evaluating the wrong things. We have been evaluating how service impacts us rather than the impact on those we say we're helping. Are the service projects well organized? Is it done efficiently? Does it help to motivate our people? Do our numbers, are we more and more engaged in service, in good works? So we've been evaluating the wrong things. We have been measuring activities rather than outcomes. So for example, the number of clothes that we have given out, the number of boxes of food that we have distributed. Feeding America, that's the big, huge food collection organization in our country, and they've got all the movie stars behind that, and Oprah and Dr. Phil and others are promoting it. And so they tout their success by numbers of people that they have fed. For example, their recent website says they have fed 3.7 billion meals to the poor. They have fed over 12 million children this past year. This is huge. This is big business, and we've been measuring that as a success measure. What we haven't been looking at is, of all of those people fed, to what degree have we moved them toward the development side of the formula? Is the need diminishing? Well, you would think that when the economy improves, that the need for these kind of resources would diminish. And yet, good organizations seem to be evaluating their success on how many more people they are serving. Well, we're figuring out that giveaway programs tend to promote greed. There's a church, a good-sized church in Atlanta that's kind of I would call it the church of what's happening now. And the pastor was preaching a series on feeding the 5,000, and he came up with this idea of let's feed 5,000. And so they picked a date. It was between Christmas and New Year's, and got their 12,000 members all engaged in bringing in food, and the word went out, the church is going to feed 5,000 people on a given Saturday. Well, the word did get out, and folks started driving in as far away as Alabama to get their box of food, and it jammed up the expressways, and the town that they were in, so emergency vehicles couldn't get out. The police could hardly get around to police all the traffic. It locked the city down. Well, you could call that a success. They certainly haven't repeated that. There's something about a giveaway program that elicits, it's attractive to the darker side of our humanity.